I also see these issues through the lens of a dad, of a 6, a 5, and a 3-year-old. And my wife and I oftentimes, discuss the challenges that parents are facing. Maybe I missed it, but when I was growing up, I didn't see an agenda to try to jam all this stuff down the kids' throats. Kids were just kids back then, and everyone agreed they were off limits for any adult stuff, and we didn't even go down this road. Well, now we're in a different spot, and so this is a big deal for my wife and I, but I am happy to have her come up and say a few words because she's a force, and she's a great protector of children.
Thank you. My fellow mamas, I saw you standing up. Well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to fight with the governor, and I'm also happy to fight on behalf of the mamas across the country. And I'm also pretty happy to be here because I get to talk to somebody older than 4, which is an accomplishment for me. By the way, if you're wondering why my voice is a little bit hoarse, well, it's because I've been negotiating with a 3-year-old all day today as to why they cannot color with permanent marker on the dining room table or in the bathroom or on the state wallpaper in the governor's mansion. So that's kind of why but our kids, 6, 5, and 3 are the light of our lives. I mean, they are the reason why we fight. They give us so much happiness, a little exhaustion now and again, but don't think for a second, when the governor doesn't come home at the end of a long day, I don't hand them to him. Although what is really funny is when he comes in at 8 o'clock after a long day, he always wants to bring something, maybe from Casey's, from somewhere else, and it's usually a sweet treat, right? So it's usually when they're going towards their bedtime routine that he decides to come in with a cupcake, which is nice, but it's okay. So listen, I get questions all the time about the governor, and one of the questions I get asked more than anything else is they say, we see him as a fighter on TV. Do we know whether he is going to be a fighter when he goes up to Washington, D.C. and he's taking on the swamp? And I can tell you it's a good question because I get frustrated too with all of these people in elective office who say they're going to go do something, then they go up to Washington, they go rogue. They don't hold true to what they told the people that they would do, and it's frustrating. But I can tell you, Ron DeSantis always stands up for what's right. He never backs down. He says what he's going to do, and he gets it done. There's a lot of examples that I can point to, and he talked about it earlier, but I think this is really important because when you look at COVID, the world descended upon Florida. You had the corporate media, the left, the White House, Fauci, Birx, all prognosticating that every bad thing would happen unless the governor followed their dictates and their politicized, unscientific orthodoxy. But he held the line in defense of the liberties of the people he represented. He never backed down. He took their livelihoods and their happiness above his own. And he said, just as he said earlier, because I love when he says this, it's my job to defend your job, even at the end of the day, if it means that I lose my job. So all of this was in the face of unrelenting attacks. I mean, you couldn't even turn on the TV for like 5 minutes, and they were always attacking Florida and the governor. So how do you know that he's going to be able to go up to Washington, hold the line, stay strong, and stand up for what's right? Because when it matters, when it really, really matters, when our fundamental principles are on the line, our God-given rights are on the line, and you have to make a decision in the moment that matters, that forever impacts the people, their lives, that you were there to represent. That's why you ran for office. And you have 2 paths. You can take the path of least resistance. You can subcontract your leadership to the medical bureaucracy. You can aim for self-preservation. You can be more interested in your political, quote, career. Or do you hold the line? Do you defend the rights of the people, their ability to earn a living, to be with their loved ones, especially in their final moments? Do you fight for our children to be in school, to breathe without a mask forced on their face? Do you ensure that people have the choice as to whether or not they want to take an mRNA vaccine, and certainly not make it contingent upon their job. Because at the end of the day, it is what you do in the moment that matters. And I can tell you the governor, Ron DeSantis, is in it for the right reasons, to defend the idea of America, to ensure that our children, our 6, 5, and 3-year-olds who are currently destroying the governor's mansion, I will tell you that, but grandma's, she's on the job, but to ensure that our children, your children, and your grandchildren have the opportunity to live up to their God-given potential. And the governor is going to show the world that the best of America is yet to come. God bless you, and thank you for the honor to be here.